My. What do you want, my dear?
May I come in and warm myself? And perhaps you have something to eat? I haven't eaten anything in several days.
Of course I'll fix you something. But first, what is a pretty little girl doing out in the forest? Don't you have a home?
I had a very nice home, but a nasty old frog stole me away. She wanted me to marry her son. Ugh, he was terrible looking.
I certainly understand. Frogs are terrible looking. We moles think they are filthy creatures. If you are going to marry anyone, it should be a mole.
I wasn't really counting on marrying anyone. I am just getting started in life. There are so many things to see that I hadn't really thought of settling down.
A girl cannot decide on those things too quickly. It's a big and cruel world, and unless you have a nice man to take care of you, terrible things can happen. Look at me. I am very secure here. My husband worked and worked and worked.
But I think I am too young to get married. Besides, don't you think I should see more of the world first?
I don't know, my dear. When I was young, we had no thoughts of such things. When we were old enough, we got married and went to work to be good wives. Maybe things are changing. Anyway, you eat your dinner now, and we'll talk about it all later. Thumbelina's life with me was very happy. She at last had security again. I made her a nice bed by the fireplace, and together we talked of many things through the long winter months. She yearned for a glimpse of the blue sky and of the trees and flowers again, but was content to stay with me underground until the snow went away. At last summer came, and Thumbelina could again spend her time above ground, enjoying the beauty of Mother Nature. One day I had a surprise visitor who insisted on waiting until the little girl returned home.
Oh, hello.
Thumbelina, dear, I would like you to meet Mr. Digger. He lives near here, but he goes south for the winter. Now that it is spring, he is back again. And upon learning that you were my guest, he insisted on staying so that he could meet you.
How do you do, sir? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
My, what a beautiful child. You were right. She is exquisite. Like a beam of sunlight, or so they tell me what a beam of sunlight looks like. I cannot stand the light myself. I have an excellent idea, my dear. My home is not very far from here, and there is a tunnel from Mrs. Mole's backyard. Why don't you come with me, and I will show you some very interesting things that I have collected from all over the world.
Go ahead, my dear. There is certainly nothing to fear from Mr. Digger. He is a fine gentleman. and I have known him for a long time. He and my husband were good friends.
Yes, my dear. There is nothing to fear from an old gentleman like myself. Come now. I have many interesting things to show you. Come, Thumbelina.
Not so fast. I can't see very well in here. You moles have quite good eyesight in the dark.
Oh, yes, indeed. It is the nicest place there is, these cool, damp, dark caverns. What a beautiful way to live.
You don't like the blue skies and the trees?
I like the tree roots. They are delicious. Some of them, that is. But I have come across a few that are bitter.
No, I mean to look at the trees and the sky and the clouds.
No, that is of no interest to me. Besides, all those things hurt my eyes.
Oh, the poor creature. What happened to him?
He froze in the winter. He must have gotten caught by the early snowfall on his way south, and then tried to crawl in through that hole to keep warm. Anyway, he's an ugly creature. Come with me, my dear.
This is beautiful. You must have traveled in many countries to have collected so many beautiful things.
I'm glad you appreciate them, my dear. It's not often that someone as young as you notices the finer things. For instance, that chandelier. It came from an old chateau in France. And my stove. It was made by the finest Dutch craftsmen. My rug, woven by the oldest firm in Persia. And my paintings, the best of the old masters. Yes, I've spent my life collecting nice things. And now that I am older, I have only one sorrow.
A sorrow? How can someone as wise and as wealthy as you have a sorrow?
Ah, but I have. When I was young, I worked very hard. And as I acquired my wealth, I spent it on all this. But my possessions and all my money have not brought me happiness. I'm lonesome.
I wouldn't think a person like you could be lonesome. You have everything you need, and I'm sure you have many friends.
Oh, I have lots of friends. But most of them would disappear very quickly if they thought I had lost my money. You are lucky, Thumbelina. When someone offers to be your friend, you know they truly mean it.
Oh, you shouldn't be so serious. I'm the one who's lonesome.
A pretty thing like you lonesome? How could that be?
I shouldn't really complain because Mrs. Mole has been so good to me. But I am very lonesome. You see, I was stolen from my mother by a nasty frog, and then I ran away and hid in the forest. I have really nothing that I can call my own, or any place that I could call my home.
It's such a funny world. Here I am with everything, and I'm unhappy. And there you are, a beautiful child with everything to look forward to, And you're unhappy.